Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Flat Acres 4X. But before that, this video is brought to you by Midwest Farmer and Mojo Jojo. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Flat Acres map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Now, I've got a theory on this, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But as the name mentions, this is a 4X map. It's also a very flat map. And my theory is that if there was going to be any map that was going to be capable of running on consoles that was 4X, it would be this one. Because we're sitting at 75 megabytes file size. There's not a lot going on with this map. But my theory is that we've yet to see a 4X map stay on console, because I feel that consoles are limited with respect to the file size that is reserved for, or disk space that's reserved for game saves. And overall, a game save on a 4X map is much larger than a game save on a standard map. Even a well-established game save on a standard map is much smaller than a standard game save on a 4X map. And that's what I think is the crux of why we're not seeing 4X maps on console. But that's just a theory of mine. Any rate, back to our description. I have created this map to be used with very large equipment like the Nestee and Colossus pack. This map is all about farming and multiplayer teams. There are no trees, hedges, fences to worry about, just farming. This map includes 25 fields, enough starting equipment to farm every base game crop, sell all the vehicles and buy some land or the Nestee equipment. After all, this is why I provide you with so much, or just farm with what you've got. Animal and production points are available on the map. Everything is sellable, so you can design your own location if needed. There is a caveat I'll go into here in a moment. If you start off owning you do start off owning all the common land and the areas between the fields, as well as the roads. Traffic is set up on the entire map. If you use autodrive, all you have to do is create the route on first startup, and you just need to add drop off and pick up points. I'm sure those of you who play with autodrive understand what that means. I hope you enjoy the map and have some fun. With that said, let's jump back over here to the map and take a look at the PDA. We're going to scroll out first off, and remember, this is a 4X map, therefore everything is 4 times larger than it does appear on this PDA, so size is a little deceiving. I've also gone in and disabled the grass overlay. That way everything isn't just a bright yellow. So if your PDA differs from mine, then just disable grass and this is what you're going to see. With respect to our farmland overview, well, we start out by owning farmland ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 is our largest field that we own at the start. We also own all of the unbuyable land, if you will. That would be the land here at the animal areas, at the various sell points, production areas, and oddly enough, at the main farm itself. This is not actual buyable land. Now, if you happen to load this map up and say you do not want to own the farm, note all of the equipment, all the buildings are still there. You're not going to find a point in time where there's nothing on this map and you can have a completely blank slate unless you go and delete everything that you can delete and sell all your machinery off and then adjust the bank balance to what you want. But you still will not be able to buy this land. I don't think that's going to be a big issue because I was able to place buildings on this land in the game mode where I didn't own it at the start. So just be aware that is an interesting caveat associated with this particular map. With respect to our crop overview, we do have our standard FS25 crop counter available to us here on Flat Acres. We do have several animal pens put down, and all these animal pens are void of animals at the start. I was able to sell all these animal pens as well when I was trying. We do have contracts available on this map, and since these fields are quite large, well, the contracts are probably going to pay out pretty darn good as well. We have 9 productions pre-placed on this map that include the bakery, cement factory, cereal factory, the dairy, grain mill, oil mill, preserved foods, spinnery, and the tailor. We do not own any productions at the start. And with respect to our sell points, I counted up 5 unique sell points on this map. Now, of course, I wasn't counting in the productions. If you don't own those, then of course, those are also sell points as well. We do have a lot of starting machinery, and we're going to run down through all of this starting machinery here in a moment. We also start out with our Husqvarna 550 XP chainsaw, which is a bit funny because, well, the map author mentioned there weren't trees or shrubbery to deal with on this map, but we do start out with chainsaw, and this map does not have any collectibles. So I found this right at the end of the video, and you'll see that right at the end of the video. And I'm adding this section in right after we talked about the fact that you have a chainsaw in your starting equipment. I can't pull up the chainsaw, right? I can't pull it up. And I think the reason I can't pull it up is, for whatever reason, it's inside this ball. And I can't figure out what's going on. But if we go into wireframe mode, we can clearly see there's a chainsaw inside that ball. And if we come out of wireframe mode, it's just a white circle with no collision. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. If you look at the PDA, I think we're pretty much in the middle of the map. So, I'd love to know from you all what the heck this thing is. It's somehow some sort of indicator of the middle of the map. Okay, cool. And then, why would there be a chainsaw in the middle? Now, before we jump over and take a look at our starting machinery, I do want to take a look at our farmland overview just to give you a nice graphical listing of the various fields and how large those are. You can see we start up owning fields 1 through 5, and those are anywhere between just under 4 hectares to 38 hectares in size as far as owned. Then I'll slowly scroll through this list, and you kind of see the sizes of all the other fields, with the largest field being Farmland ID 14 at 147 hectares in size. With respect to our starting fleet, we're going to use the garage menu to pull this up. We have the Volvo VNX 300 Semi. We have 5 Fendt 1050 Vario tractors. We also have the GX 520 trailer and the Profiliner semi-trailer. We have the Summers Super Chisel CP 2050 cultivator. We have the PW 112 plow. We also have the Citan 15001C seeder and the Kinsey 4905 Blue Drive planter. We have our Amazon ZGTS 10001 fertilize spreader. We don't interestingly have a lime spreader. We have the Aerostar Classic XXL weeder. And we have the Condor Endurance 2 liquid herbicide and liquid fertilizer sprayer. For our harvesters, we've got the Northstar 1230 FB corn header. We have the John Deere HD50F grain header. We have our X9 1100 harvester and the HD HT52 header trailer. We have the Krone Big M 450 mower, as well as the Shuttle 490S Bergman forage wagon. We've got our green bean harvester, our pea harvester, and our spinach harvester, all from Oxbow. We also have our Izeki rice harvester. We have the Case Module Express cotton harvester, and we have our rice planter. Now, I guess I should maybe point out, we've got a crop, at least one crop missing. I don't see a sugarcane harvester listed here. But then again, I don't think too many people are going to miss out on planting a 4X field worth of sugarcane. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any vehicles or equipment that has been specifically modded and included. Now, with respect to our starting farm location, well, we've got a lot going on here. First off, we've got some nice grass area here where we could plow this up and turn it into a field. We could cover it with asphalt or gravel and use it as more of a placeable area. We have 2 large silos here at our starting farm location. One there and one over here. Farmland ID 1, 2, 3, and 4 are already set up as rice fields, and they're already flooded and ready to go. I have to say, if you're going to be planting this with regular rice, with the Izeki rice planter, well, good luck for you, and it's going to take you quite a while. Now, we do have several pallets of consumables here on our Profi liner. So you can see we have pallets of rice saplings, we have pallets of seed, pallets of lime, and we have pallets of silage additive. So lots of consumables are already here on the trailer ready for us to go. Over here to the west on our starting farm location, we do have a maintenance garage. We have a fuel tank, and we've got a couple little storage sheds. We could use those to store our pallets and things with. We have our farmhouse with our sleep trigger there and good old buddy Walter. And then we have 2, 4, 6, 8 windmills here at our starting farm location. Lots of machine storage for our starting machinery. And I mentioned that there was a shed that we couldn't delete. This is that shed. So this shed cannot be sold. I've tried clicking on it. Nothing comes up, unlike a normal building where you can sell it. I tried to go into demo mode because sometimes that works, and I'm still unable to sell it. So this is going to be a permanent structure apparently on this map. Everything else at this starting farm can be sold, as well as all of the animal pens. They can also be sold. The only issue is this building right here. So we have more vehicle and implement storage. And then in the middle of our farmland here, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bale and pallet sheds. So those are also here part of this starting farm location. Again, all of that can be sold with the exception of the green machine shed in the corner. As far as our animal pens go, well, they're going to be over here. So this is field 5 that we also own at the start. And we have our cow barn with our manure heap. The cow barn is going to be able to hold 231 cows. It's a standard Farm Sim 25 cow barn. So we have our milk trigger. We have our buy trigger there for our animals. Inside we have our straw and food trigger as well. Then we'll have our slurry point here on the other side of the building. Across the way we have our pig pen. So we have our slurry, we have our food, and then we have our delivery point for our pigs. 1,827 pigs are going to be available in this one. That is quite a big increase from our capacity of our cow area. If we continue across the northern part of the map, we have the smallest fields on the map across here. Fields 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we also have our sheep pen just to the south of field 7. It is also basically a fairly standard FS25 building. We're going to be able to have 193 sheep available in this one. And we have our food trough, and we're going to have our milk and our wool spawn point there. Continuing across the northern part of the map to the west, we then find our 6 chicken coops. And once again, these are pretty standard FS25 chicken coops with our chicken trigger and our feed trigger here on the side. 360 chickens per coop. And then our eggs are going to come on the outside perimeter of this whole area. And then the entire western side of this map is going to be reserved for fields 10, 15 and 20. We're going to cut across the map at this point. So we make our way over here to a couple of different structures. We have our vehicle shop and we have our warehouse over here. So our vehicle dealer, we have our dealer trigger for our maintenance and our dealer trigger for purchasing. Since this is set up as a big map, let's go ahead and buy something big and see where it's going to spawn. So a decent sized area here for this large machinery to spawn in at. There's no fences, there's no issue with getting out here on the road. And of course the road is very wide. So even if you had traffic, you've got these wide berms on the side of the road to contend with. We have our warehouse trigger here. So we have our buy point where we can deliver products. Our pallets are going to spawn there for what we purchase. And we're going to be able to purchase our various warehouse goods from there. South from the warehouse, we're going to find our productions. So here we have our cement factory. We have our oil mill. And we have our tailor and our spinnery. Our grain mill. Then the rest of our productions are just to the east. Right here at the intersection of fields 17, 18, 22, and 23. We have our cereal factory, our preserved foods factory. We have our dairy and our bakery. Now, if we make our way to the extreme southeast corner of the map, we're going to find several various sell points. So we have our farmers market sell point here. We have a stone crusher and we have a big farmers kiosk sell point. Then down here we have a biomass heating plant sell point. So if we do plant trees, well, we could bring our logs and wood chips down here. Then this whole area could be used to place other buildings. So let's just go ahead and confirm that. Not enough money. Let's get something we do have enough money for. Yes. So we can, as you can see, place other buildings here. So we could use this as kind of a mass area to put down other factories or other things. We could even build out another farm down here in the corner. North of that, kind of midway down the map, we're going to find our animal dealer. So here we have our Riverbend Springs animal dealer. Around the back, we're going to have our slurry and our manure purchase points to purchase those goods. Around the front, we're going to have our sell point for our animal dealer. And we're going to have our animal dealer buy trigger itself to buy our animals. And that, folks, is pretty much the entirety of Flat Acres 4X. It's a 4X map that is completely flat, has a focus on agriculture of pretty much any variety, including some pretty large pre-placed rice fields. And you can, of course, delete these rice fields out by simply selling the pump. And then at that point, you'll be able to you're supposed to be able to sell the pump. Wait, no, there you go. Click on the field, right? I forgot myself for my own videos. Click on a field, and now this is no longer a field. You will have to plow this up in order to make it back into a field. But if you don't want to use rice, you can just delete the fields out and use this land however you see fit. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to Flatlands or Flat Acres 4X. Is this the map you've been waiting for? Are you ready to dive in, single player or multiplayer? And what are your plans for this large flat map? Until next time, happy farming.